The Black City America Erased Prologue, A Ghost in the Archive. In 1921, America erased a black city and pretended it never existed. They attacked a wealthy black community from the ground and the air and called it a riot. This single event helps explain why generational wealth remains unequal today. Imagine a city, not a neighborhood, not a district, a fully independent black metropolis. It has paved streets, luxury hotels, three-story brick banks, and a school system rivaling the best in the country. It is a place where black doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs aren't just surviving, they are the elite. Now imagine that, in less than 24 hours, it is gone. Not only burned, but scrubbed from the history books. For decades, the descendants of survivors would speak of it in whispers, while the rest of the country pretended it never existed. To understand the tragedy, we must first understand the triumph. The Promised Land. In the early 1900s, Oklahoma was seen as a promised land for African Americans fleeing the violence and restrictions of the Jim Crow South. It was a frontier where black families believed they could finally build something of their own. One man was O.W. Gurley, a wealthy black landowner who purchased 40 acres in Tulsa and decreed that the land would be sold only to other black people. Another was J.B. Stratford, a lawyer and entrepreneur who built the Stratford Hotel, a 54-room luxury beacon and the largest black-owned hotel in the United States at the time. By 1921, the Greenwood District had become a fully self-contained economy. Because of segregation, black dollars stayed within the community. A single dollar could circulate up to 19 times inside Greenwood before leaving the district. Greenwood boasted 2 independent newspapers, modern indoor plumbing, which many white neighborhoods still lacked, a world-class hospital, fashion boutiques importing silks from France. It was a middle-class utopia, a living proof that black prosperity was possible without white oversight. And that success made Greenwood a target. The Spark. The downfall began on May 30th, 1921. A 19-year-old black shoe shiner named Dick Rowland entered the Drexel building to use the only restroom available to him. He stepped into an elevator operated by a 17-year-old white girl named Sarah Page. What happened next remains unclear. Most historians believe Rowland simply tripped and accidentally stepped on her foot. Sarah Page never pressed charges. But a clerk heard a scream, saw Rowland running, and the rumor mill did the rest. The Tulsa Tribune published a sensational headline, "Nab Negro for attacking girl in elevator." There are reports of an editorial that same day calling for a lynching. By sunset, a white mob gathered outside the courthouse where Rowland was being held. This time, something was different. Black World War I veterans, still wearing their uniforms and carrying their service weapons, arrived to protect him. They had fought for democracy overseas. They refused to allow a lynching at home. A shot was fired, no one knows by whom. That single bullet ignited a massacre. The destruction. Between the night of May 31st and the morning of June 1st, Greenwood was subjected to an organized military-style assault. White mobs were deputized by local authorities. They were armed, directed, and told to get a Negro. Ground assault came first. Mobs moved house to house, looting jewelry and furs before setting homes and businesses on fire. Witnesses reported machine guns firing from nearby hills and from moving trains directly into the black community. Then came the air attacks. Private planes flew overhead, dropping incendiary devices onto the roofs of Greenwood. It remains one of the only times in U.S. history that a civilian American city was bombed from the air. By noon on June 1st, the smoke was so thick it blotted out the sun. 35 square blocks were destroyed. 10,000 people were left homeless. The official death toll was recorded as 36. Historians now estimate the true number was closer to 300. And then there was silence. The erasure. The fire ended, but the erasure had just begun. Survivors were rounded up and placed in internment camps. They were only released if a white employer vouched for them. While they were detained, the city of Tulsa refused outside aid. Red Cross assistance was blocked. Food, shelter, and medical supplies were denied. The most chilling part of the Tulsa story is not only the violence, but the amnesia that followed. The Tulsa Tribune article that incited the mob was physically cut out of library archives. For more than 75 years, the Tulsa Race Massacre was not taught in Oklahoma schools. Not one chapter, not one lesson. No one was ever prosecuted. No insurance claims were paid to black homeowners or business owners. City officials even attempted to change zoning laws to prevent Greenwood residents from rebuilding on their own land. Survivors grew old. They told their children to stay quiet, for their own safety. A thriving city became a whispered legend. The scars that remain. In the late 1990s, a state commission finally began to investigate what had been buried. They uncovered eyewitness testimony. They found evidence of mass graves. They traced the destruction beneath highways and concrete, especially Interstate 244, built directly through the heart of what had once been Greenwood. Today, Tulsa is not only a tragedy, it is a blueprint of what was stolen. When a bank is burned, a library destroyed, and a family home erased, the loss does not end that day. You are not only killing people, you are killing the inheritance of their grandchildren. Greenwood is being rebuilt, but the scars remain. The fight for reparations continues. Because a nation cannot heal a wound it refuses to name. History is not just what happened. It is what we choose to remember.